Hello there. If you are new to the channel, my name is Mark. This is Toast Dragon Fantasy, and in today's video you will see me shivering like a concerned chihuahua because my house is so cold right now. But on top of that, as an added bonus, you will hear me talk about some of the forthcoming releases, fantasy releases mostly, for the winter of 2018. Now, before I begin, I am aware of two big releases towards the start of this year, namely Iron Gold by Pierce Brown and Obsidio by J. Christoph and Amy Kaufman. I won't be talking about those, and the reason I won't be talking about those two books, despite the fact that I'm very, very excited about both of them, is because on these kind of anticipation videos, I like to try and stick to debut writers or first books in series. So that's why those two won't be featured. Right, now that's that out of the way, I think we can crack on. So the first book I would like to talk about is a book called The Tangled Lands. It is written by Paolo Bacigalupi and Tobias S. Buckle, and it comes out on the 27th of February 2018. This book tells the story of the city of Caim, where magic is used by everyone, but it comes at a price. And that price is that every time a bit of magic is used, kind of a bramble comes up from the ground and sort of starts to destroy the city. And as such, I imagine that magic has become quite an almost outlawed. One of the reasons why it's taken my interest is because, as far as I'm aware, everyone is capable of using magic, which doesn't actually happen in a lot of fantasy books. Obviously, you get your normal sort of specialists, stuff like that. But I think, I might be wrong, but I think everyone can use magic in this book. But this magic is slowly crumbling the city from within. The weaponry can't stop it. There doesn't seem to be anything that can stop these brambles until an alchemist comes along who thinks he can alchemically remove the problem, if you like, the thorns and stuff like that. He can get rid of them. He believes he's come up with a way of getting rid of them. Unfortunately, the city is run by a character known as the Jolly Mayor, and the Jolly Mayor, for reasons unknown, does not want the alchemist to step in and remove this plague from the city. It reminds me of, it gives me sort of uprooted vibes, but yeah, it does sound intriguing. So that's The Tangled Lands by Paolo Bacigalupi and Tobias S. Buckle, out at the end of February. The second book that I am going to talk about is one that I believe is going to cause a massive stir. I think it's going to be one of those books that everyone is going to have a look at on BookTube, and I think it's going to be everywhere. And that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This tells the story of Zayla, who is a magic user. She is one of she's one of a decreasing number of magic users because magic has become outlawed by the king. And I believe that this king, or maybe people working for this king, has killed Zayla's mother because her mother was using magic. It was outlawed. Mother gets killed for using magic. I think that's basically the gist of it. I believe it encompasses different strands of magic. Elemental magic sounds as if it's going to be quite a big part of the story. And obviously because of her mother's death, Zayla is now, I imagine, on the mission for vengeance, on the mission to reclaim magic, because she herself is a user of black magic, and so potentially can be very, very powerful. And I imagine that as soon she's going to have to avoid sort of being discovered, otherwise she will almost certainly be disposed of by this king. She has the help of a rogue princess, as she's described as a rogue princess. I imagine perhaps the daughter of this, corrupt king. And yeah, it just sounds like a good solid read. It reminds me of 12 Kings by Bradley Bolio, of which I still haven't got around to the second one, which is pretty unforgivable because it was one of my favourite reads of 2015, and this gives me very, very similar vibes. So that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and it comes out on the 8th of March 2018. Third up is A Time of Dread by John Gwynne, and this comes out this comes out soon. It's 11th of January. John Gwynne is a big name in fantasy fiction, but he's one that I haven't got around to yet. I haven't read any of his stuff. This is a new trilogy, but it's set 100 years after, I think, the end of his previous series of books, so it's set in the same world. The story revolves around the Banished Lands, which I believe were heavily featured in his last series, and the Ben Elim, who are ruling these banished lands. They conquered a horde of demons to take over this, and it seems as though all was well, but of course this is fantasy, so all is not well. There are rumbles of these demons returning, and this comes about because one of our protagonists, Drem is his name. Well, I don't actually know if it's a him or a her, I'm not too sure. Drem is this person's name, and this person discovers mutilated corpses, is how they're described, which would suggest that perhaps these demons aren't as dealt with as previously thought. Down in the south, you've got Riv, I believe his name is, or her, I don't even know. Riv might be a girl as well, actually. actually. They both might be women. Riv is down in the south where these Ben Elim rule. Ben Elim, by the way, are warrior angels, which is very interesting. And this person, Riv, is hearing murmurings of discontent among the elite of Ben Elim society and hierarchy. I imagine there's probably talk of sort of corruption, of coups, of plot conspiracies and stuff like that within the court, and I imagine Riv, who is a soldier, is kind of getting wind of this and perhaps ended up stumbling into something much bigger. So that book is out next week, A Time of Dread by John Gwynne. The fourth book is a book called The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and it is by Stuart Turton, and it comes out on the 8th of February 2018. Now, if you've heard of this book, you are aware that this is not a fantasy book. I don't do it often, to be fair. I don't include many non-fantasy books on this channel at all, which kind of tells you that this one really has piqued my interest. It is, I think it's pretty much set up as a big stock murder mystery type whodunit type book. There's a party going on, and this lady, Evelyn Hardcastle, is murdered. She is the victim, and it is up to our hero, Aidan, to discover who has committed the murder. However, if he doesn't find out who the killer is, the act will happen again, and it will keep repeating itself, basically. Pretty stock standard. But where it differs, and what really got my interest, and what really made me include it on this list, even though it is not a fantasy book, is that Aidan will wake up every morning in the body of a different person who attended the party. He will be different party guests every time he tries to solve this murder. And it is all to do with a greater thing in which someone appears to be trying to keep Aidan trapped in this place without being able to solve this murder. That is basically what I am getting from this book. It sounds interesting. It sounds like probably my one non-fantasy read of the year. But yeah, that is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. And the final book that I'm going to talk about today is a book called The Song of All. It is written by Tina LECOUNT Myers, and it comes out on the 20th of February 2018. This tells the story of Irian, who is a legendary warrior who has been there and done it all and seen it all and committed all kinds of murders and stuff, and he's had enough of it. He's sick of it, so he pretty much exiles himself. He takes himself away from absolutely everything. He takes himself away from his bands of men who have been with him for years and years and years. He goes into exile. He starts a family, has a little son, and he's after a life of peace, done with war and all that kind of stuff. The war in question in this particular story is what can initially be perhaps described as somewhat of a one-sided war. It is the war between humans and immortals. Now I don't know if humans are aware of this, but as far as I'm aware, immortals can't die, so to me, sounds like it could be a bit of a one-sided war. But anyway, tangent aside, Irian is done. He's out of it. Until he is discovered by his former comrades, by his former brothers in arms, and a priest, kind of a cold, calculating priest. They kind of banded together, they found Irian, and they're basically blackmailing Irian into coming back into the fold. And I think Irian is sent on a mission where he's got to track something through the forest, perhaps. I think that's kind of came across. It's set in a Scandinavian backdrop as well. It's heavily influenced by Scandinavian culture, which again is not something I've not actually explored very much. So yeah. Very interesting book. The Song of All by Tina LECOUNT Myers, which is out on the 20th of February 2018. And that does it. Let me know down in the comments if you are aware of any of those, if any of those have particularly piqued your interest. Alternatively, you can let me know down in the comments what you are interested in, what you're interested in terms of releases, upcoming releases. Obviously, I'm always on the lookout for new releases. If you liked today's video, please do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up, because that will tell me how well this has done. If you're new to the channel, you've only just discovered me today, check out some of my other videos, and if they entertain you as well, subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified when more BookTube, AuthorTube and skit type content come your way. That is all I have time for today, so with that being said, my name is Mark, this is Toast Dragon Fantasy, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye.